Just imagine being 37 and realizing you had everything wrong in your life. What you believed, what you thought, what you was doing, everything I believed and was doing was completely wrong. For 37 years of my life, I'd been getting it wrong. And it cost me relationships, it cost me friendships, it even cost me some businesses. All because what I believed was totally wrong. When I was 37, I woke up one day and I just wasn't happy with my life and what I was achieving. So I decided I wanted to change. And that change led to so many things. But what did I have to do? I had to kill my old self. I had to kill everything that I believed in, everything that I thought was true, everything that I thought I was doing was right. I had to kill it all. My actions, my beliefs, my mindset, everything. And when I did that, that's when I truly became or started to become the best version of myself. It's hard to admit to yourself that you've been living one of the biggest lies of your life for the last 37 years, and everything you believe was totally wrong. It made me feel stupid. I look back with regret. I look back at so many things and I thought, why did I let my beliefs stop me from achieving the things that I wanted? When you do this, it's going to be a little bit painful, but also it's going to be one of the best things you do. Killing your old self and becoming a better version, a new version, is going to be one of the best steps you take in your life. And I recommend every man who's struggling, who is not happy with their life, who is not achieving the things that they want, who is not in a position where they want to be, they have to kill their old self to become a better version or to become the version they want to be. You cannot change with old beliefs, old bad habits, old mindsets and become better because those old beliefs will always hold you back. That's why you have to destroy and kill your old self to become the best version of you. And if you do this, it will change your life. You've got to have a more open mind. You've got to open your mind to new ideas, new ways of thinking, new opportunities. You've got to really open your mind to everything. Let everything come in. Let it sink in. Let it change your life. And if you do that, your life will start to change. You've got to be willing to learn. You've got to spend time to read books, learn from history, learn from the past. The next thing you've got to be willing to do is put in the work. Changing anything takes time, it takes effort, it does take energy. And you've got to be willing to put in the work to change yourself. Sometimes you've got to bite your tongue when other people are speaking to you. You've got to think before you speak. You've got to think before you act. You've got to put a lot of energy into changing the way you behave and think. Once you start doing this, you will start to get better outcomes in your life. I was someone who always rushed into things. I was over emotional. I was loud. I was obnoxious. I was a pain in the ass. I was maybe some people may call a giant knobhead. But I realized my shortcomings were holding me back. I realized my flaws, my mentality, my mindset, everything was holding me back. That's why I decided to kill my old self and start this journey of self-improvement and improving my life. And it's been one of the best things I've done. If I didn't take that decision to kill my old self and become a better version of myself, I'll probably be stuck back in the UK. Actually, I know I'd be stuck back in the UK in a job I didn't enjoy anymore, be surrounded by people who didn't have the same mindset, the same mentality, and I would have been stuck in a situation I didn't enjoy. Killing your old self is not just about changing the way you think, it's changing the way you behave, the way you speak, saying you can't afford it, you can't do it, you're not strong enough, you're not capable, you didn't have the right upbringing, you didn't have the same advantages what other people had. Speaking a certain way will stop you from achieving everything that you want. I know this because I used to speak like that. You've got to kill the way you speak. If you do that, your new self will be able to achieve a lot more. We don't realize the impacts our words have on our actions. Every time you say something, you make it a reality. You convince your brain it's real. That's why one of the things you've got to do to kill your old self is change the way you speak. Another thing you've got to do is change the way you think. The old way of thinking never got you anywhere. It stopped you from achieving your goals. It stopped you from thinking what was truly possible. That's why you've got to change the way you think and start believing things are possible. Start believing things can happen. Start believing change can happen. Once you start believing, you start taking action. If you always believe it can't happen, it can't change, the worst thing is always going to happen, you're going to be held back. That's why you've got to start changing the way you think, the way you speak, and on top of that, you've got to change the way you behave. Your actions will be stopping you from achieving everything that you want. The old actions of going out on the weekend, chasing women, wasting money, buying things you don't need, taking action without thinking, being over emotional, being loud, not taking time to listen, all these things will hold you back. You've got to really change the old version of yourself and kill it so you can build a better version of yourself. Another thing that you want to kill from your old self is making excuses. Excuses will keep you poor, will keep you stuck, will keep you single, will keep you in a place where you don't want to be. It's easy to make an excuse. That's why most of us do it. That's why I did it for the first 37 years of my life. I made excuses for everything. My biggest excuse was I didn't have money. That's why I couldn't make money. See those three things I talked about in the beginning? The way I was speaking, it was stopping me from achieving that. My mindset, believing that you need money to make money, and I was using money as an excuse. See how those things all come together and hold me back? Once I got rid of those excuses, my life started to change. Excuses are for poor people, they're for weak people, they're for people who don't really want to achieve anything. But if you're like me and you want to go to the next level, no matter your age, you've got to get rid of your excuses. Another one that you might really struggle with, and one thing I really struggle with, is my desires. My desires to be with women. Who doesn't love an attractive girl on their arm? But your desires will be holding you back. It will be taking your vital energy from you changing your life. Once you can control your desires, by God, you will become an insane, better version of yourself. Your desires will keep you weak. It will make you prioritize the wrong things. I did it for so long and it kept me poor, it kept me stuck. Controlling your desires is one of the hardest things you can do as man. Because what do we love? We love good food, we love good women, we love nice cars, we love nice clothes. And these things are some things that we can end up wasting a lot of time and money on. But if you've not laid the foundation for a better future and become a better man, these desires will hold you back. Once you become that level you need to become, you can go for whatever you want, but you need to control your desires, because if you don't, they will control your actions, the way you think, the way you behave. It'll keep you poor and stuck. That's why you've got to kill your desires and replace them with things like going to the gym, working on your business, learning something new, reading books, and channel your energy into better things. If you're not happy with your life, you're going to have to either stay in the old version of yourself, the person you're not happy with, or you can start to make some changes and start changing your life for the better. No matter what age you're at, you can change your life. People think when they get to a certain age, they can't change. I'm doing self-improvement at 40. And some people would say, why the hell are you trying to improve your life? It's too late, you've missed your opportunity. But Tony Robinson, he's had a kid at 65, and that kid is 4 years old. And it made me realize, even in your 60s, it's not too late. You can change yourself at any point. You can kill your old self and become a better version of yourself at any point in your life. It's just you have to make the conscious effort to do it. Nowadays, we have drugs, we have supplements, we have so many things that can change your appearance, but also your hormones, your sex drive, your muscle growth. There are so many things you can tap into. If you kill your own self, the only thing I see happening is you unleashing a better version, a 2.0 of yourself. But you have to be willing to give up that old thinking, that mindset that believes that you can't make money, you can't get girls, you can't lose weight, you can't become more attractive. All those old beliefs have to go. You have to get rid of them, and you have to start learning to become the best version of yourself. Now it's so much easier to become more attractive, to become more intelligent, to set up a side hustle, to change your physique, to change everything about yourself, because all the information is there on the internet. The other day I released a video on how you can strip fat from your body without doing exercise. Because knowledge is free and it's available, you can kill your old self at any point you want and start changing for the better. And if you do, it will be one of the best things you do in your life.